All right. Quote for today. Lucky people generate their own good fortune via four basic principles. They are skilled at creating their own chance opportunities, make lucky decisions by listening to their intuition, create self-fulfilling prophecies via positive expectations, and adopt a resilient attitude that transforms bad luck into good. That's Richard Wiseman. Mine that I wanted to bring up is called The Luck Factor by Richard Wiseman. And essentially, like I said in the quote, his approach is you can actually, that yes, luck is a happenstance kind of thing, but you can improve your skill set around luck. And what he really means by that is, and I'll give this in an example. He means to increase your optimism, increase your belief that good luck is out there for you and is sort of waiting for you. And when he's taken this sort of luck can be improved approach with people, and you start to get people to believe that that is true, then all of a sudden things around them start to be more lucky. Part of that is your outlook on how things played out. So there's a very pessimistic attitude of if something bad happens, oh, well, it's bad things always happen to me, etc. And then he says, but people who are quote unquote more lucky, a lot of the time it's just a mind shift to, well, that bad thing happened, but because that bad thing happened, I had some luck. And they look at the positive side instead of the negative side. So that you could say is a little bit of a, well, that's just a game you're playing mentally. But by doing that, you actually increase your chance for other luck, because if you believe that you can be lucky, you tend to take more chances that tend to lead to more lucky situations. If you believe that you are lucky, your eyes and it's almost like when you buy a green car and then all you see is green cars on the road. If you believe you are lucky, then you will see opportunities that other people would say are lucky. And one of the ways that one of the most interesting experiments in the book, and then I'll pause there, is they took people that felt they were unlucky and people that felt they were lucky, and they went to a Starbucks, and they invited those people to come into an interview inside the Starbucks. And they put a $20 bill out front of the Starbucks on the ground. And those people that felt they were lucky would see it like 80% of the time, 90% of the time, they would see it, pick it up and be like, oh my gosh. And people that said they were unlucky walked past it almost the inverse, like 9 times out of 10 would walk past it and not see it. And so it's this concept of, if you believe that you are a lucky person, then you will be more open to lucky things happening to you, and you don't close yourself off from it. So now that is a wildly summarized version. I'm not trying to get into the book. What I'm telling you is I think you should read it. I think you should question it for sure. And then I think you should see if you can be a little bit more lucky because of it.
So does he admit that you are kind of just playing games in your head, or that you drew that conclusion on maybe his stretched ideas, or was that his lead view, just kind of a better mindset and you're lucky?
Yeah, no, I would say so. Again, I summarized that pretty significantly. He spent probably the first 4 or 5 chapters really sort of talking about luck, etc. And then there's a woman that he talks about that was like the luckiest woman in, I think she was titled for a while like the luckiest woman in the world. This is back in I want to say the 60s or 70s. And he's an English guy, so this is stuff out of England that he's referring to. But she won more contests and more drawings and more X, Y, and Z than anybody else. And everybody was like, how can this woman just keep winning? And then, they interviewed her and she goes, because I entered. I spend all kinds of time, days and days entering these contests. And then because she had won so many, every time somebody said, oh, it's another one, then it became somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, oh, she's so lucky. But in all honesty, it was because she entered all of them. Well, that goes back to, in a lot of ways, mindset. If she would not have entered those, if she did not believe she was lucky enough to enter those, she would not have entered them. She wouldn't have been lucky. And therefore, so again, it's can you develop luck? And how do you develop that in yourself? Can you get more lucky by changing your mindset? And then however you want to look at the result, right? As whether it's because you quote unquote develop luck and all of a sudden you're a lucky person, and boy, or because you are because for IT people, we're a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit more show me the math kind of thing. Well, you just increase your probability. You increase the probability curve. And if you increase the probability curve, great. And I would say that's one part of it, but there is, I would say there is more in there. And in particular, the experiment where people would literally walk over a $20 bill and the difference between people that felt they were lucky, people that felt they were unlucky. And I think they even then did a cross where they did the same experiment. They never told the people the situation, and then people that they worked through psychologically to get them in a more optimistic, a more positive, a more quote unquote lucky mindset. They did the experiment again, and then those people did see the bill. So it wasn't even just well, maybe just per chance, maybe there's something else in there. It was like they really did seem to find a way to help people get more lucky, be more lucky, find those opportunities, etc. So
I guess for me, luck equates to something that's dangerous, like a dangerous way of thinking. And maybe the word itself, it's attractive. So maybe it attracts viewers, readers, followers for him. But I think, yes, just showing up increases your luck of being successful or winning or being in the top 10. Yes, we all know that. 90% is showing up, 10% is just a dogfight, as they say. But I think the way I look at it is kind of like the Starbucks analogy used is people showed up Starbucks. Maybe they weren't looking for a $20 bill. Maybe they were, but they showed up every day. They carried out repetition. And then they, some of them their chances increased of getting that $20 bill. Now, I think the ones that took it a step further and actually circled around the building or took a different path from their car to the door every visit to see if they could stumble across something, to me, that's work, right? That's repetition. That's finding different ways to be successful. Sure. And maybe successful in that analogy is finding the $20 bill. So you said it was summarized, which I agree. Yeah. But I kind of look at it that way, where showing up, yes, that's most of the battle. But then the prudence, repetition, failure, repeat, rinse and repeat is what further increases your chances of being successful.
So I certainly want to say thank you to my fellow Misfits for joining today. My fellow Misfit, Matt Campisi, Tim Stevens. My name's Jerry Black. Have a wonderful day.